I am in hair and makeup right now because I'm about to film not one video, but two videos. The first video is going to be on New Year's resolutions, resolution words, all that kind of stuff. And my second video is going to be basically a trailer for my YouTube channel, and it's all about what it means to be unbehaved. And there is a ghost in my bathroom. Do you see that? Do you see the ghost? There it is. What's up with that? Hello, my dearly unbehaved. I can't tell you how happy I am to be hanging out with you today. It's been a while. First of all, I got sick, and then I had this cough that was lingering for like a month. And then Yule happened, and we were just being busy little elves. We had my in-laws came and visited, and then later over the New Year's, my daughter and my grandson came and visited, and we had a magical time. But I really wasn't working very much. And then they left, and then I got sick again, which was very frustrating because I was so eager to start my new start. But here I am, revving up my engine again. Vroom, vroom. So I hope your holidays were super pleasant. Mine were wonderful. Christmas was quiet because we didn't go anywhere. Usually we go to New Mexico, but we didn't go this year. And I'm kind of glad because the travel situation, and yeah, I mean, usually we drive, but it was that huge storm. I'm so glad we didn't go through it. I'm terrified of tornadoes, so yeah. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions and New Year words because that's something that people have been doing, I don't know, for the last 5 years or maybe longer. Who knows? Maybe for centuries, and I'm just coming upon it now. People now choose words. It's a very simple way to do it. It gives you, it's kind of like, it puts the word becomes a mandala in your mind and you can just focus on it. So I think it's great. So I have a word and I will tell you about my word in a few minutes. And I also have some resolutions too that I will talk about. So I have noticed that a ton of people are choosing the word intentional this year, which I'm really excited about because that's kind of what this channel is about. This channel is about ideas and figuring out how we work, getting past our social conditioning, and just being honest with ourselves so that we know enough about who we are and what we want so that we can create an authentic goal. This is the purpose of intentional living. So really this channel is about intentional living. Intentional living is all about setting an intention and committing yourself to making choices that serve your authenticity. This is how we truly experience our own life and how we self-actualize. I do this by talking about ideas and practical solutions and sharing part of my life with you. I hope I'm not the only voice in this room, in this community. I mean, I really do encourage you to leave comments down below and share your thoughts with us, with me, with us, the whole community. You know, especially if you disagree or you can expand upon it. I have been complimented and blocked on social media for putting a mirror up to people's faces. So if you dare to stare into the mirror, you might want to hit that bell. Well, you might want to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification below so you will receive notifications whenever I upload a video. I'm not very on schedule yet. I'm shooting this month, I'm shooting for 2 videos a week. And I'm aiming ultimately for 3 videos a week. I'm working out the schedule yet. So it helps to hit that bell so you'll be notified until I really get on a good schedule. It not only encourages me, and it really, really does encourage me, but it also tells the algorithm to share my content with others. So I have a word and 8 resolutions. So grab yourself a pot of tea, or a carafe of wine, or a pot of coffee, or a jug of water, and throw in some Depends, because we're not only going to have quality time, but we're going to have a little quantity time together. Now to my word of the year. Are you ready? My word of the year is resolve / resolute. Quite meta, right? To have your New Year's resolution be resolute. Anyway, there is some personal history behind this word, lending it even more significance. Because you see, my mom was a magical, eccentric woman. She belly danced. She ran a Polynesian dance school, read tarot for me and my friends, and was sometimes hired for parties. She consulted the I Ching. She belonged to a high magic coven in LA. She also ran an art gallery, wrote poetry, and recited her works at the same events, like readings, as Wanda Coleman, who is the unofficial Los Angeles Poet Laureate. She also led poetry workshops at the Mental Institute where she worked. She had this huge bookshelf of novels, poetry books, anthropology books, Kama Sutra. That was one of my favorites. Lots of mythology, Joseph Campbell, Alan Watts, Jung, Carl Jung, and like Taoist thought, Buddhisms, just tons and tons of books, a lot of books on psychology. And she also had a giant record collection. So whenever I stayed at her house, because my parents were divorced, I loved just hanging out in front with piles and piles of books in front of me, just kind of perusing through each one, or listening to records. And I would have like the lyrics out, the insert, like the album insert had the lyrics, and I would just sing like Fleetwood Mac and pretend I was Stevie Nicks, and I'd read all the lyrics, and it was a good time. So she and I used to like spend our weekends just driving around LA. We'd go to all the used bookstores, and we'd come out of the bookstore with grocery bags full of books, and then we would go to like a cafe or a restaurant, and we would just share our books. We'd just talk about all the books and how excited we were, and read the backs of them, and yeah, it was such a good time. Sometimes we would go to restaurants and just people watch, and we would make up stories about people's lives. We also, a couple times, pretended that we had somebody else with us. We would go to a restaurant and say that we wanted, a table for 3. And we would order, 3 drinks, and we weren't crazy, but we were trying to make the waiter crazy. She was a fun mom, but you can imagine that she sometimes was not. She died on Halloween 4 years ago, which seemed more than coincidental for my sisters and me. And it really did give us catharsis, because it was a proper ending to a magical life. And with her, she gave me a lot of challenges to overcome, which is good. Challenges are good for the soul. She also gave me a lot of magic. I'm okay kind of being rational and magical all at the same time. I just have no conflict with it. So she often assigned me books like Desmond Morris's The Naked Ape, Julian Jaynes' The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, and the Tao Te Ching. I wasn't homeschooled, but I'm going to go to the homeschool of, some of it was magical and some of it was just psychology and whatever. While reading the Tao Te Ching at 11 or 12, when I first came upon the word resolute, which is related to resolve. One is an adjective and one is a verb. So as an adjective, resolute means firm, unyielding, and determined. And yes, this is how I want to be for the new year, for this year. I want to really get this channel going and make it special. I've always been a seeker, a loner, a daydreamer. And I didn't really have a lot of friends when I was growing up. So I had to learn things in a different way, and I had to become my own friend. And those are gifts. Those are gifts to me, and they have given me my unique perspective, and I want to make it useful. I want to make it an ability of mine and not a disability. As an adjective, resolute is firm, unyielding, determined. That's what I want to be this year. I need to produce content that is relatable. So I want to be relatable to you, and you can actually help by letting me know when I am being relatable and also letting me know when I'm being a little obscure. I don't mind it. I'm really good at criticism. So, if you're a troll, I'll just delete you. But, I don't host trolls. But I want to make this channel successful, so I'm going to have to be firm, focused, and prioritize it like a business, or even as if I were an employee to myself. I need to be unyielding, as I'm not going to allow anybody's doubt over what I'm doing or their opinion of me to knock me off my course. And that includes self-doubt as well. So I looked to try and find the passage from the Tao Te Ching where the word resolve, where it triggered some magical thought in me about that word. I was 12, so when this happened, I was about 12. And this is the passage that I found. It is the only use of the word resolute, not resolve or resolute. It's the only use of the word resolute in the whole Tao Te Ching. Now that we have that, where we can search the whole thing, because we have those functions on our computers. So here is the passage, and here it goes. So I'm going to read it. When the magistrate follows Tao, he has no need to resort to force of arms to strengthen the empire, because his business methods alone will show good returns.
Briars and thorns grow rank where in army camps. Bad harvests are the sequence of a great war. The good ruler will be resolute and then stop. He dare not take by force. One should be resolute, but not boastful. Resolute, but not haughty. Resolute, but not arrogant. Resolute, but yielding when it cannot be avoided. Resolute, but he must not resort to violence. By a resort to force, things flourish for a time, but then decay. This is not like the Tao, and that which is not Tao-like will soon cease.
I have to be honest, I'm a little confused by that passage and why it was so magical to me when I was 12. And maybe it's because I haven't read the book in a long time, and it's taken out of context, and I don't know. However, I took resolute back then. I infused it with my own meaning, my own, whatever it was that I wanted to be feeling, I guess. So I took resolute to mean set my intentions, seriously. Kind of like in a law of attraction sort of way. I believed if I closed my eyes hard enough and thoroughly imagined what I wanted, it would happen. And that's what it meant to be resolute. To just have such a clear idea of what you want. Just make it so clear. So clear. And that if you somehow manage to make it technicolor in your mind, make it 3D, make it so real, that you would manifest it. And to be honest, I have done that, and so many things have actually happened that way. I am living a realist version of the fairy tale life that I dreamt of as a child. Only my partner is not a prince, but more like the sexy philosopher that I dreamt of when I was in college. Always been a big daydreamer, and part of that is attributed to me being neurodivergent. I escape the sensory world through my mind. And part of that is, I think, my mom. She used to do things with me, like make me imagine things in my head. We would go through colors. We would like go through, like, she would say, okay, think of a color. Think of it, and I would be, okay, blue. And she's like, make it the purest blue in your mind. And then she would tell me to go through all the colors. Go through blue, go through red, go through all the colors of the rainbow and make them pure in my head. And then she would tell me that once I got to white, and if I could just flood my inner eye with the color of white, I would be all powerful. And I've never been able to do that, really. But yeah, she would do that. She would do things like that with me. Or she would also have me imagine a color, or she would imagine a color, and then I would guess what color she was thinking. And we were almost always right. It was very weird. And I've done this with my husband too. He's very rational. He's very much a scientist, but he's guessed my colors. I'm getting off track. This is very chatty, isn't it, today? So anyway, if anything, I worked on my imagination. I worked on my ability to create vivid images and, paired that with daydreaming. I don't know, perhaps I was casting spells. I don't know. So when I say my word of the year is resolute, I am referring to my interpretation of it as a child, like that sort of magical word, as well as the more rational idea that I just need to get my poop aggregated and be clear with my intentions, set my sights on it as if it were a mountain peak, and just start heading in that direction. It's in the clarity of my goal that will lead me to success. It's like keeping my eye on the ball rather than obsessing over my form, or not moving the goalposts around because suddenly they seem silly. I have to establish it in my mind that my goal is good, it's worthy, and that I need to just keep moving towards it. Okay. As for my resolutions, I have 8 of them. So put your Depends on, because we're going for a ride. No, it won't be that long. So health. I'm very specific about health. The whole idea with my resolution is to not go off the rails, not overachieve. Just kind of go with the recommendations, the CDC recommendations. I plan on being consistently active. That's the most important thing. Be consistently active. Every week, be active. Days of cardio per week. So I'll get on my bike, pretty much. Maybe I'll start running again. I would love to start running. I don't run because I feel guilty about leaving my dogs behind. And my dogs are not very good runners. Like they're crazy. Okay, so and 2 days a week of strength training. And then doing lots of hikes and going hula hooping and just, generally playing outside. Now that the holidays are over, I want to return to limiting my sugar intake. Maybe I should say I have to get all the sugar out of my house first because I don't like to waste. These are so good though. These are like key lime cooler cookies. With tea. But I'm limiting my sugar intake to below 25 grams. This is not 25 grams, and I won't have any more sugar. And this is added sugar. I'm not talking about naturally occurring sugar. I want to maintain a focus on health and quality of life versus my appearance. I really want to shake off the idea that size and weight contributes anything to my worth, because it doesn't. Neither it does for you either. That's just diet culture and patriarchy talking. The diet industry just wants to make money off of us, and the patriarchy just wants to see visible evidence of our obedience to it by complying to the beauty standard or whatever. Of course, there is a strong correlation between weight, physical activity, and diet. However, there is no direct causation between weight and health. In fact, studies show that it is better to be fat and fit rather than be thin and sedentary. And you know what I would love? I would just love to see more of fluffy fitness coaches who are fitness instructors who are less body conscious. I'm not saying that they can't be thin or whatever, but just not be like all about like showing the abs and flex and like the ass. Can I say that on YouTube? The butt. Because I'm more inclined to seek out help for my fitness through someone who is not using their appearance to market their fitness. That just triggers me to pursue fitness for the wrong reasons. I ultimately fell at that because, you know, I've been really skinny and I wasn't particularly more happy than I am now. Motivation is just not totally there. And I still worried about my fat and stuff, even when I was skinny. I felt the same way. So, if there is a channel or fitness coach you recommend who fits that bill, please let us all know in the comments. It will be really helpful. Resolution number 2. I want to wear looser and softer clothing. Oh, this has something to do with not being appearance focused. So, part of being focused is not being distracted. And everything I'm talking about is kind of intentional. It's about intentionality. So part of being focused is not being distracted. Clothes that are itchy, gripping, and constricting are super distracting to me. They trigger self-objectification. And if you don't know what that is, I did do a video of it and I'll link to it up there. So they trigger self-objectification, especially when I feel like a muffin top blooming over my jeans or my thighs are rubbing together. It's a tactile thing rather than a visual thing, because I really don't mind how I look when I'm naked. In fact, I kind of like it. I sort of see myself as a plump goddess. But I can't get over the feel of tight waistbands, ribbed fabric, or synthetic fibers that just itch and grip and drive me nuts, and they make me feel fat. They make me feel like there's something wrong with me because they're just contorting my body, and I can feel it. In order to just not deal with that anymore, I'm going to stick with loose-fitting clothes that express how I feel on the inside, but at the same time let me forget about myself. Number 3. So I want to become fluent in chest hooping. I've been hooping for a year and a half. It took me a long time to, get to the point where I could like chest hoop or shoulder hoop. I had to get a bigger hoop in order to do it. But I haven't been able to do it fluently. I can only do a few rotations. I can't just sit there and do it for like 10 minutes. So that's my goal. I want to be able to do that for about 10 minutes. So I'm sure the problem has to do with core strength, flexibility, patience, and boob size. Last year, I was all about having fun, but this year, I want progress because I really want to dance and feel the flow and just kind of impress myself. Number 4, I will keep my planner updated and well attended to. I just got this planner. This big, huge planner, and it's great. It's got like monthly review. It's great because I can put my year goals, my month goals, my daily goals. It has vision boards, affirmations. It's really cool. I've gotten planners other years and I didn't really stick to it, but this time I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it because that planner is allowing me to have 8, 9, 10, whatever resolutions because they're all written down there and I can refer to them every single month. Number 5, alcohol. Sorry, this is not really a year resolution. This is just this month. January is going to be a dry month for me. I haven't had a dry month since I started drinking, really, which is like 20 years, well, which is like since, well, really, my first drink was when I was like 12. And yes, I didn't drink every day. I have not drunk every day since then. But I started drinking daily maybe when I was about 30. Just a drink, just a beer, a glass of wine, maybe 2. Right now, I have a glass of wine or 2 on most nights. And I want to reset. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to have a glass of wine or 2, maybe a couple nights a week. And that's it. On New Year's Eve, my daughter came. We were having fun. I drank a lot. Let's just say I drank a lot. And part of this reset is just recovering from that night. That just kind of set me up where I was just like, no, I just don't want alcohol. Set. So this month is going to be dry and I also want to see how I feel. Oh, I have noticed something already is I've been dealing with this cough all month, but I'm actually coughing less. I'm sick now, but I'm coughing less. And I don't know if like my new sickness is chasing out the old sickness or don't have as much inflammation. I don't know. Number 6, kayak. We got a kayak last year at an estate sale for real cheap. And we went a whole summer and we never used it. So my husband has been really, really busy. His work just keeps him so busy. But that's no excuse. He needs to go out with me and do things like that, right? Right? I think so. Because he needs stress release. He needs stress relief, and this is good for his health. He needs vitamin D. He just needs to get out of nature and have fun with me. But whatever. He's his own person. I have this kayak, and I'm going to take it out whether he's with me or not. I haven't done it so far because I've been worried about whether I can put it up on the car and take it down, and I don't want to get stuck. But I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make it happen. And, you know, if I can't make it happen, if it just totally doesn't work, I'm just going to call my husband for help. But I think I can make it happen. I think I can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I want to kayak often, like once a week. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to being out on the Saxbaha. I think it would be so meditative and so calming and so peaceful. And when fall comes and all the colorful trees are being reflected on the water and it's still like 70 degrees. I mean, that just sounds like a dream. Number 7. This is an easy one. Friends. I'm going to hang out with friends at least once a week. I'm such an introvert, so I have to write this down to do it because I just like hanging out by myself. When I hang out with someone who I'm really connected with, it's fun. I really like it. It's good. And I'm not going to hang out with people I can't make eye contact with. If I can't make eye contact with someone, that's probably not someone I need to be hanging out with. Number 8, this is the last one. No more Blue Sky Patriarchy. This is a private joke between me and my husband. So Blue Sky Patriarchy is basically a kind of word association game played between me and my husband, where we are talking about our days or just something that is generally happy and blue sky-like. But then something in the conversation triggers a thought about patriarchy because, you know, everything is patriarchy. We live in the patriarchy.
Everything is patriarchy.
And suddenly, we're talking about patriarchy. I'm really good at changing the subject. Unfortunately, this is giving my husband nightmares about me going off to join a cult and trying to get him to come along with me. Therefore, I must stop because that just can't be good for our relationship. I am okay with imagining an ideal world that is inconsistent with what I want now. I don't think he can do that. I mean, I think he has troubles. Like, why would you want something that you don't actually want? It seems a little, why would you like say this is a good thing when you don't actually want to live it yourself? It seems a little hypocritical, right? But I'm okay with it because I believe, and I don't know if you're going to follow me here, but the sin of hypocrisy is a byproduct of the dualism of Western thinking. We worry about being hypocrites because Western thinking doesn't understand how two opposites can be true at the same time. However, I don't subscribe to that. I think it's okay to dream of a better world, but enjoy the world you are now. I can imagine a social and economic structure that isn't built on the back of cheap or free labor, that is not hierarchical or binary based, where people aren't motivated by status, honor, and their two little sisters, shame and guilt. I can imagine a society where collaboration replaces competition and our mindset is outward, meaning we are working for the benefit of the whole instead of just working for personal prosperity or legacy. But to achieve that now would take a bloody revolution where the first couple of generations would suffer. This has happened before, and it doesn't work. Also, we weren't raised for such a world. This is not part of our social construction. We would be miserable as cats in spacesuits, but eventually, we might get there. We might transcend ourselves and get to that place many, many, many generations into the future, long after I'm dead. That is outward thinking, by the way, thinking about life, beyond your existence. We might get there. We might get there sooner if Elon Musk has us all on Mars. I don't know. All citizens of his corporation. I wonder what that would be like. I don't know. Now you know, but now you know. Now you see what my husband has to deal with. This is Blue Sky Patriarchy. Well, that is our video for today. If you liked it, and I'm assuming you did if you're still here, make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really helps. And I will be seeing you in a couple of days. Mwah.